All right. So you already told me your name was JJ.
Yes.
JJ, you guys were just working out at the park?
Yeah, we're just out doing the little stations that they have, following the rules and doing exactly what they say and making sure we're getting a good workout in.
Following the rules, that's a big one today in today's day and age.
That's true. That is true.
So you came up and you said you were down to talk about anything because you had been out here talking to people about real estate.
Yep.
So are you a real estate broker? Are you an agent?
I'm an agent.
Okay, cool. And how long have you been an agent?
We moved down here in August, and I finished up my class and took my test and got my license right in the early part of November.
Okay, and what were you doing before real estate?
Before real estate, we were originally from Iowa. I was a Division I softball coach.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And why the switch?
My fiance, she got into Arizona State University to get her PhD, and we thought it was a great time to make the switch. It was, obviously COVID shut down our season, so it was like, all right, it's time to switch. I was doing real estate as kind of a secondary gig to fulfill my income, and it was like, all right, it's time to jump full bore into it, and here we are now.
What is her PhD work going to be on?
What is it? It's like community wellness, exercise, and nutritional science.
Okay, awesome. See, I'm 23 and I just made the decision that I'm going to start my grad school process. So I love hearing about other people's grad school journeys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were out here talking to people about what they like about Phoenix with regard to real estate.
Yep.
What did you hear?
I actually got a ton of different people and a ton of different responses. I had somebody that's lived here for 40 years, and I had someone that moved 3 days ago.
Okay.
The number one was weather, always. Right. And then a lot of sunsets and mountains, hiking were the biggest things.
So you said you're from Iowa?
Mm-hmm.
Being from Iowa, do you see such a big difference with like things that are available to do here? Like, have you had a better time living here than you did in Iowa?
I'm not going to say a better time. I love Iowa. That's my hometown. That's where my family's from. I grew up there. But I absolutely love it here. We've only been here now, 6 months? And there's so many things to do. Yeah, my fiance's from Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So we got a little bit of a connection here. But there's so many things to do. There's opportunities for literally everybody.
Right.
And the thing that I think I enjoy the most is, I was small town Iowa, about 50,000 people, school of 200 people total. So everybody knew everything you did.
Right.
So if you were going to come out here to the park and try and talk to people, odds are 1 in 4 people you were going to know already. Right. So out here, it's kind of like, well, if I go to the park and somebody just like curses me out or something, like, I'm probably never going to see him again. So
it doesn't really matter.
It's like whatever. Yeah,
that's true.
And that's probably my favorite part about it.
Right. And it's weird because Phoenix is like, for example, in LA or in New York, like you feel how big of a city it is. Phoenix is a big city, but it doesn't feel like a big city.
I've definitely gotten that vibe.
Yeah.
100%.
It's bizarre to me because people come here. My girlfriend said this the other day when we were driving around Old Town. She was like, I forget that we live in a destination spot for like a lot of different people come out here and party, and celebrities, athletes, and all that different kind of thing come out here and they like enjoy their time here, and we just live here. But it doesn't feel like LA. It doesn't feel like New York.
No, and that's what I think I really noticed the difference between here and Chicago is what I always go to, because that was our biggest, closest city, only about 2.5 hours away.
Right.
And I feel like Chicago, everything grows upwards.
Okay.
Where here, everything grows outwards and really expands. Unless you get downtown, there's really nothing that's, more than 10 stories high. Where Chicago, you got 50 buildings in a row that are 50 stories tall.
Right. I have a strong opinion about downtown Phoenix, and they just ruined it by putting the Cardinals Stadium out in Glendale.
I know.
They could have done so well and had like a good city hub going, you know what I mean? And really like brought it to life, but there's just not enough going on in downtown for people to really be there all the time.
Well, especially now with COVID. You can't go to, who knows if Diamondbacks games will be open, Coyotes games, Phoenix Suns games, like hope that we can go to those soon. We were even talking about spring training.
Right.
That's all over the place, but is that even going to be here this year?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's difficult. It's difficult to make any plans for anything, even leisurely plans, especially. Trying to make plans to go on vacation has been such a pain in the last year.
Oh, even just going out to eat is you got to watch out where you're going. Is it going to be full to capacity, or you're going to have your mask on? Just what's your environment going to be? You almost feel like every time you step outside, you got to think about that.
What were regulations like in Iowa before you moved out here?
Well, I'm going to say it, but everybody called Iowa the idiots out walking around.
Okay.
So
that says enough.
IOWA, which, we didn't have very many regulations
Okay.
Right off the bat. They finally put in a mask mandate in like October. But other than that, like everything was pretty much open. Right as we were moving, they shut down bars and started to limit the capacity that restaurants could have. But other than that, it was pretty much free game until we left.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison, Phoenix is much more, the greater Phoenix area is much more open than a lot of other larger cities are.
Yeah.
So cities of our population aren't as open as we are, I guess. They're much more regulated and much more stern about their regulations.
Yeah. Especially, like you were saying, Los Angeles, New York are both very highly structured right now. But yeah, I would compare Iowa pretty similar to the Phoenix area.
Okay, so it wasn't that much of a change for you as regarding COVID, at least.
No. We just started to wear masks everywhere we went, and that was really the biggest change.
Gotcha.
Just wearing the mask. We were already doing the hand washing, hand sanitizing, trying to social distance as best we can. But
yeah, how is real estate going so far?
I always just try to practice with caution. So as I do that, I don't see very many kickbacks. You saw a slight dip in the market in March when it started.
Right.
But
that's just people got scared.
Everything is pretty much back to normal, and there's less houses, fractionally on the market right now, but the prices of those houses are much higher than they were this time last November, December.
Right. So I was working in off-market real estate for, I want to say like anywhere from 8 months to a year. And it was kind of broken up because I was working with friends. So I was in and out of their business. I got a job with a sales organization, then lost my job to COVID, 3 months after getting the job. So it was a big ordeal. But we saw the same kind of thing happen even with off-market real estate. Everyone just got scared and wanted to keep their money in their pockets. So I'm happy to know that people are starting to spend their money more often and getting out there and, starting to actually live their lives again. But the real estate market people were really, really sketched out.
Oh yeah.
Right when COVID hit, people were really, really sketched out. Especially as like agents, because people were like, oh, the social distancing, no one's going to go to open houses. Like, how's this going to work?
And there was a ton of different avenues that was put in to try and prevent that, virtual open houses, limiting, you almost had to schedule when you were going to go to an open house. To limit how many families or people were in the house at one time.
Right.
But again, too, I've talked to a lot of people where once they went into quarantine and they started working from home, and now they're learning that, I'm going to work from home almost 3/4 of the year. They're like, well, why don't I work from home from Phoenix?
Right.
Where it's beautiful all year round. So you've seen a very big influx of not only California people, which I know everybody kind of feels that, but from all over the country, really. Iowa and Minnesota are two really big kind of pipelines for people living in Phoenix, whether it's a second home or people, getting the age where they're like, well, I'm working from home now anyway, so why don't I just work from home in Arizona rather than -2 degrees in Iowa right now.
And it makes you feel like as things start to open up again, there's going to be more companies willing to move out to Arizona as a whole, like shut down their businesses, whatever state they're based in right now, and move to Arizona. There's going to be more people available for signing. Because what happens when, or if or when these companies say, okay, you got to come back to work in the office now, and people have moved out of state, and this, you know what I mean? That's a whole ordeal in its own.
I think the two biggest things that I see are going to have a massive lifestyle change, like right off the top, is, we always have this conversation, is secondary education.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's going to change dramatically how they do things, but also corporate.
Okay.
People are going to learn, I don't need a massive warehouse with 1,000 cubicles for 1,000 employees, but maybe I can go 300 cubicles, lower my square footage to 1/3 and only have, you, and my fiance, we all share a desk, but I might only come in on Wednesdays. You might only come in on Mondays. She might come in on Tuesdays. And then we rotate every Thursday and Friday for your in-person meetings, your big events that you have to do. But other than that, work from home.
And there was always that talk about work-life balance and the culture around work life in the United States and stuff. That was prevalent prior to, all of this happening. And I feel like this just expedited that process. It expedited that conversation. Now we're right where I think we were going to be in another 10 years, one way or another.
And with real estate, tying it back in too, is everybody asks for a home office now.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Everybody wants their own space to work. It's tough to work out of the bedroom or the kitchen or the dining room when, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, your significant other, your kids are all running around distracting you, and
you're supposed to have a whole computer set up out there and everything. Yeah, it's definitely a pain in the butt.
I know your coworkers are watching you on Zoom, like,
yeah,
you know, waving over at your kids, like telling them to be quiet and pushing the dog away because he's getting on your lap. So
those are some of my favorite YouTube montage videos right now.
Those are great. And
my son bothered me during my meeting or bumped into me during my meeting, whatever.
Yeah, and there's also some pretty ones that I was like, I would not want that happen to me. But, you know, they're all over the place now.
Yeah, and I would like to know just how many people are pulling off the boxers with a suit top right now and making that their daily outfit.
I've done it. I'm not gonna say boxers, but I've definitely had like nice shirt and tie on and some
basketball shorts. Hey, dude, whatever works as long as it gets the job done, right?
Exactly.
Dude, I appreciate it. It was nice talking to you, JJ.
Yeah, it was good talking to you too. So before I go, since I did this at the park,
absolutely,
I'm gonna give you my 3 questions.
Okay, go for it.
Alrighty. So first one, how long have you lived in the area?
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yep, I was born in Cave Creek.
Okay.
And I was raised in the same Cave Creek area. I've lived a street down from here in Scottsdale for 4 years.
Awesome. What's your favorite part about living in the Phoenix area?
My area specifically is my vicinity, like the vicinity of different things that I have around me, how close different things are. You know what I mean? This central Scottsdale area, right close to Old Town. I'm, you know, a 20-minute drive from downtown. I'm 10, 15 minutes from Tempe. I'm 20 minutes from North Scottsdale. So everything's relatively close to
there.
me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And that's moving here. The 101, the 202 make things
Game
so
changers,
easy to get around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can get across Mesa or all the way across Scottsdale in 20 minutes.
Yep.
From either one. And, you know, in Iowa, we weren't that big, but it would still take that to get across town just because of the streets.
And there's also the widening of the 101 too is just helping that much more.
Well, yeah, and it's also slowing things down.
In the long term.
One time we had to go like a half hour around because we ran into construction on the 101.
Oh, man.
Yeah, when that's all done, it's going to be awesome. You're just going to be flying around town.
Oh, yeah.
And then my last question, and it's usually a mix of 3 questions. I'll mix it up. But since you've been here,
right,
born and raised,
right,
what's the best restaurant in the area?
That's a really good question. I'm a foodie, so the best restaurant. My answer rotates quite a bit, but I'm going to say Blanco Tacos because I've been there quite a bit lately, and their margaritas are just
so when I go, I got to get margaritas.
Yeah, they have I forget the specific name of it, but it's a flavored margarita. It's the red one. Ask them for the red flavored margarita.
All right.
So good. Delicious.
Awesome. Yeah, those are my 3 questions that I was asking people the other week. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming by, having the conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Hey, you too.
Peace out, man.